Once upon a time, in a mystical valley nestled between the towering peaks of the Himalayas, lived an ibex named Iggy. Iggy was no ordinary ibex. His coat shimmered like the first snowfall of winter, and his eyes sparkled like the stars on a clear night. He was known throughout the valley for his kind heart and adventurous spirit. One sunny morning, as Iggy was leaping gracefully from rock to rock, he heard a faint, melodic sound. Curious, he followed the sound until he reached a hidden glade filled with vibrant flowers and lush greenery. In the center of the glade stood an ancient oak tree, its branches spreading wide like a giant umbrella. At the base of the oak tree, nestled in a bed of moss, was a glowing crystal. The crystal emitted a soft, warm light and hummed a sweet tune. Entranced, Iggy stepped closer and gently touched the crystal with his hoof. In an instant, a swirling vortex of light enveloped him, and he found himself transported to a magical realm. This new world was unlike anything Iggy had ever seen. The sky was a brilliant shade of lavender, and the clouds floated like cotton candy. Trees had leaves of gold, and rivers shimmered with the colors of the rainbow. As Iggy marveled at the beauty around him, a tiny, sparkling fairy appeared before him. "The magic crystal holds immense power," Luna explained. "But it has been stolen by the Shadow King, who dwells in the dark forest. Without the crystal, our world is losing its magic. You must retrieve it and return it to the ancient oak tree." With a determined heart, Iggy set off towards the dark forest. Along the way, he encountered various magical creatures, a friendly dragonfly who guided him over a treacherous swamp, a wise old owl who gave him a map, and a family of rabbits who offered him food and shelter. With a determined heart, Iggy set off towards the dark forest. Along the way, he encountered various magical creatures, a friendly dragonfly who guided him over a treacherous swamp, a wise old owl who gave him a map, and a family of rabbits who offered him food and shelter. As Iggy ventured deeper into the forest, the light grew dimmer, and the air became thick with fog. He could feel the presence of the Shadow King looming ahead. Undeterred, Iggy pressed on until he reached a gloomy castle surrounded by thorny vines. The gargoyles were taken aback but impressed. They stepped aside, allowing Iggy to enter the castle. Inside, the castle was dark and eerie, with shadows dancing on the walls. Iggy could hear the distant hum of the magic crystal and followed the sound until he reached a grand hall. The Shadow King laughed and raised his hand, casting a spell that sent a wave of darkness towards Iggy. But just as the darkness was about to engulf him, the crystal around Iggy's neck began to glow. The light from the crystal grew brighter and brighter until it dispelled the Shadow King's spell. With a roar of frustration, the Shadow King lunged at Iggy, but the little ibex was quick and agile. He dodged the attack and leaped onto the pedestal, grabbing the magic crystal with his mouth. As soon as he touched it, a burst of light filled the hall, and the shadows began to melt away. But Iggy didn't stop to listen. With the magic crystal safely in his grasp, he raced out of the castle and back through the dark forest. The path that had seemed so treacherous before now felt lighter, as if the crystal was guiding him. When Iggy finally reached the ancient oak tree, Luna and the other magical creatures were waiting for him. He placed the magic crystal back in its mossy bed, and immediately, the valley was filled with a radiant light. Flowers bloomed, rivers sparkled, and the sky turned a brilliant blue. The creatures of the valley gathered around Iggy, cheering and celebrating his bravery. From that day on, Iggy the Ibex was known as a hero, not just for his courage, but for his kindness and determination to help others.